All right, and I think we're live again. So in the last video, I basically imported drum tracks from my editing session into my template where everything sounds just a little bit better. Gets a little bit more vibe. When it sounds a lot better, you kind of feel the music a little bit more, and you kind of, it inspires you to, kind of dig into your guitar tones and bass tones and whatnot. And, my templates, even though I use a pretty detailed template, anything in there is subject to change song to song. So it's not like I'm limiting what we do by using a template. It just kind of gives us a little more consistency of sound because we are making an album here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double check that every one of these is on that group. So it looks like these are not. So I'm going to select these three. I'm going to hold Command. I'm going to select those three, hit X. Aha, so those are not part of group one. Now they are. So now when I click any one of these, everything is affected. Let me go back to my feed. All right. Cool. All right. So I'm going to find a good starting point. See. All right, so that bass note there is going to be our starting point. I'm going to go ahead and just trim everything up until that point. I always like to give myself plenty of room at the beginning. It's not analog tape. You wouldn't, have the real estate for that, but it's digital. There's no excuse not to. So now what we need to do, we need to hit G to open our global tracks. Yeah, that's pretty much what I need open. So I'm going to shift G to group clutch. I'm going to select my bass. I'm going to select my kicks, that kick and that snare. And that should be enough. And then I'm going to go to Analyze Transients under Beat Mapping. And this is basically doing exactly what it says. It analyzes the transients, which is the beginning of a big, burst of big burst of, sonic energy. And it's going to mark it so that Logic, instead of, stretching the audio, it's going to actually stretch the, the score, the grid to that. So I'm going to start at 9. And I'm going to do our next one. I'm going to kind of see. I'm going to grab a measure and see what it looks like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So that's going to be our second one. So, bam. So that looks like 165. Okay. So now I'm going to basically undo those by clicking beat mapping, then click. And then I'm going to move my tempo up to start off at 165. And it's going to be all over the place. So just FYI. All right, let me get back over here. Now, I'm going to hold that there and that there. I'm going to actually turn on my click. There you go. So now you'll hear that they slowly drift away as, as it goes on and on. Just keep my phone in front of me in case I get another baby emergency. And once my drums start kicking in, I'm going to start using the kicks and snares to do this. I'm more or less going visually. So yeah, actually I'm already there. So let's go ahead and get a kick on. I'm going to scoot that to that kick. That to that kick. And I'm going to do every other measure. If things get overcomplicated in a certain part, I might do multiple measures, but for the most part, 2 is pretty good. Oh, and a big stop like that, I'm going to definitely get that one. 3, 4, 2, 4, and we're in. kind of try to race the clock here. Look how exciting this is. We're just clicking and unclicking. It's a little confusing up here. Okay. There we go. See what just happened there. Ah, so he hit a tom there. And that's okay. I'll just grab the ones around it. If you do every measure, it's less confusing. If it starts to drift as the... Alright, so there I'm going to grab a snare. Back to the kick. And now would be a good time, if you haven't already, to put this video on 1.5 speed or something like that. These scratch tracks are so terrible. Drums are awesome though. Aha. This is why it's good to back away every once in a while and look at what you're doing. Whoop. There we go. Shouldn't take too long. Aha, that's right. We did a little filter Heyman, nice shot ending where the bass keeps going. Let's see. Something like that. Let's see what that looks like. All right. That's good enough. All right. Now, I'm going to actually do markers for the parts of the song. And this is super helpful when you're navigating, especially navigating the mix. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna actually just grab that loop point I just set and drag it down. And what it does is it creates an arrangement marker. I'm gonna call that intro. Do the same thing again. Call that jam 1. Okay, cool. Drag it down. Verse 1. Cool, so we got a verse 2 happening there, or a jam 2. Chorus 1. So right there, I'll call that jam 2. How big was verse 2? Probably about twice that much. Oops. Forgot to carry the 2. That's where the solo starts. Drag that down. Chorus 2. Drag that down. I'm going to call that solo. I'm going to call this the breakdown. Some people might be yelling at me about using the arrangement. Arrangement can be somewhat destructive if you don't use it properly. I'm not using it here. I rarely use it, but markers, you're about to see why it's really cool in a second. Oh, I forgot the one before that. Well, let's call that outro. And then get from you to you. Chorus 3. All right, now here's where it gets kind of cool. Your notes, you can go to marker, and you can actually drag this out like that. And it almost becomes like a little remote control, and this is so much fun. So if you have a keyboard that has a 10 key on the side, you can hit like 1, play. See, I'm just jumping around. So like if I'm working on a mix and I want to jump around, I just want to go back to this. What does that verse sound like? Okay, I got that figured out. Go back over here. Anyway, so that's super powerful if you're working on a mix, or if you have like a big session of backing tracks. This is another great way to jump around. And let's see, marker 12. Why is that even there? Oh well, whatever. Trying to remember how to do. Is it control 4, control 5? Aha, yeah. So I got some extra markers that I don't need here. What the heck are those things even doing? Ah, yeah, I don't need them. There we go. Where was it? Markers. Marker 12. Oh, I can just delete it there, can't I? Yep. There we go. So now we are more or less ready to rock and roll. I'm going to scoot my endpoint back. I guess those markers automatically moved it for me. I didn't really want it to do that. But there we go. So now we got our marker in a reasonable place. So when you freeze tracks or if you bounce or whatever, you won't have a ton of extra audio for empty space. So anyway, that's it for this one. In the next video, I might go into some detail to figure out how I want to approach these toms, if I'm going to use a gate or if I'm going to just cut them. But once I figure that out, I'll make another video on that. And once these drums are good, we'll move on to some guitars and bass, and I might even do some more intermediate vocals. Vocals tend to come in 3 stages for me. Usually we'll do the scratch vocals, which is usually a bunch of mumble jumbo garbage. I'm not even saying real words half the time. And then I get an actual, poem of lyrics written that makes sense, and then start looking for ways to deliver that. And then I'll start recording some more detailed stuff, guitars and other things. And but anyway, so that's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Feel free to comment or ask any questions. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And I plan on just doing this indefinitely. So if you got any other friends that are using Logic and, they might be able to find something useful out of these, pass this their way. All right. Once again, y'all, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.